2022 has been a challenging year for sustainability. It has seen food and energy security challenges, along with political instability and severe climate change impacts experienced across the globe through extreme weather events such as flooding and heat waves. Looking ahead to 2023, there are a few key ESG areas that are anticipated to further develop. The first would be transparent ESG strategies, as attitudes towards sustainability issues are shifting towards accountability and implementation. Many businesses have been increasingly focused on decarbonization efforts and have set aggressive net zero targets. At the same time, authorities are clamping down on greenwashing claims that have eroded the trust in the authenticity of ESG products in order to rebuild consumer trust in this area. Businesses will need to be transparent and truthful in their claims, with authorities expected to strengthen regulations governing greenwashing and data verification. The second area is the impact of the energy crisis on the ESG agenda. Repercussions of the Russia-Ukraine conflict have led to the struggle of companies in balancing their green ambitions with energy security, potentially slowing down the pace of transition to achieve ESG goals. Countries' return to coal may be a temporary measure to bridge the energy gap, while concurrently accelerating renewable energy strategies to bolster domestic energy security. In the medium to long term, energy diversification is expected to remain high on many countries' priority lists to accelerate decarbonization through alternative and cleaner energy sources. The third is on carbon markets as a key lever towards decarbonization. Active and liquid carbon markets will continue to play an important role in countries' and companies' strategies towards net zero. More companies are being proactive in achieving net zero goals, partly through carbon credits via the voluntary carbon markets. Carbon markets require greater transparency and more stringent oversight. As cheap and low-quality carbon credits lack transparency and may not deliver the promised results, they undermine genuine efforts at climate change mitigation and divert funds away from legitimate offset projects. In a report published by a UN expert group at COP27, that is the 27th Annual UN Meeting on Climate, it highlighted that the use of cheap carbon credits to offset continued emissions is not a viable net zero strategy. It is therefore important to have the necessary quality checks for high-quality carbon credits to be used as an effective lever towards meeting climate goals, while concurrently pursuing emissions reduction measures. Article 6 of the Paris Agreement on Carbon Markets was discussed at COP27, but further discussions pertaining to Article 6 texts are set to drag into next year. Regardless, some countries have signed bilateral agreements to cooperate under this mechanism. For example, ministers from Singapore and Papua New Guinea signed an MOU on the sidelines of COP27 to build a carbon market between both countries. Other countries that Singapore has signed bilateral carbon market agreements with include Colombia, Morocco, and Vietnam. Singapore also signed an MOU with the Global Carbon Council to contribute to the mobilization of high-quality carbon credits internationally. Similar to the agreements with Verra and Gold Standard, this MOU will facilitate companies in Singapore, whose facilities are subject to the carbon tax, to exercise the option of acquiring high-quality carbon credits to offset up to 5% of taxable emissions from 2024. In both compliance and voluntary carbon markets, institutional investors have a crucial role to play in promoting liquidity or directly financing and investing in carbon offset programs. These carbon credits can be used to fulfill ESG objectives, as well as hedge against climate transition risks that other asset classes in their investment portfolios may be exposed to. Despite looming economic recession risks, discussions in the ESG areas I discussed are anticipated to advance as many businesses and countries are realizing the urgency to prioritize these issues. The mindsets are shifting to focus on long-term sustainability issues and not solely on short-term financial turbulence. Authorities are expected to place greater attention on renewable energy and low-carbon initiatives, as well as developing carbon markets to fulfill ESG objectives.